You. It is Monday, August 23rd, and I have to tell you, I'm scrambling today. We're getting ready, to go tape. We're flying out tomorrow. So not only am I getting all this stuff ready to go for my segments, but also we've got um, clothes that we have to pack and quilts that we have to pack. And then I got to pack in food here for the people that are house sitting Sparrow, the house is Sparrow. So just can't leave her. I can't do it. So here we are. I have some really exciting news, everyone. On at the end of today, John is going to hold up 2022 BOM. He's going to hold it up. I'm so excited. But in the meantime, we have a ton of stuff to cover. Oh, I want to say this too, is that these lives at a scheduled time, of course, are not going to be happening for the next couple weeks because of taping, but we'll be doing pop-ups from the studio. So those are always fun, completely different from this. But, we so appreciate you as our customers, as our guild members. I don't even know what the right word is. As our TQS family. Yeah, that feels good. And so we want you to know what's going on. On Saturday, we had to cancel 2 shows, and I was like so bummed. And it was like, what can I do in Dallas? And then I thought, no, I don't want to run around. I just don't, because of everything. Oh, wait a minute. I can work on my Sue Spargo piece. Yay! So that makes me very, very happy. Okay, I got some show and tell here from you guys, and I really appreciate it. So, yeah, hi everybody. Thanks for jumping in. Okay, so this is Tippy, and she sent, I thought this was so clever on how she stores her rulers. Tippy said that her space is very, very small, so she used a spring rod. You can see it's so spring rod things like you get at Target or Walmart or whatever. And then using S hooks, she could hang up her rulers. I actually sent this on to Lito because I thought it was so darn clever. So Tippy, thank you very much for that. And then Penelope sent this, and this is, what are those file things, right? That you could hang on your wall. I love it. And you could do it based on brand, based on size, based on whatever job you want it to do. So these were 2 very, very clever ideas that were sent in. I super appreciate it. And if I miss any of you, I'm so sorry. You're dealing with me, okay? So Patrice made this quilt with a ton of dots, and this is actually it's from Jaybird Quilts, and it's called Disco. I really like that. And then she did a close-up, and like that brown dot, I normally would not have bought, but after seeing this, I would. Now, Patrice said she has too many dot fabrics. Oh, if that's an issue, I'd be happy to talk to you. You can't have too many dots. You just can't. Then Mary, who won one of the boxes of fabrics, has posted in our gallery. Thank you, Mary. Sent a couple more quilts here for us to enjoy. This is a safari quilt that's being sent to Ghana. It's for her daughter's, for her daughter's goddaughter. I love that. I love that, as I'm sure the goddaughter will. And then this is a Susan Cleveland that Mary made. And if you guys haven't seen Susan Cleveland shows, they are worth getting in there and Googling and doing her thing. And I'll tell you a secret. She's actually going to be the teacher at my retreat this year. It's full and all that, but I'm very excited. Susan Cleveland brings happiness on a platter wherever she goes. Then this is her Bargello. Very, very pretty, wonderful. I don't think we've done a show on Bargellos yet. And then last but not least, Mary, here's a Jelly Roll quilt. Yes, that is pretty darn cool. Okay, love it. Thank you. So Liz, please stop influencing me. You're costing me money. looking forward to doing the pin cushion. Purchased from Sisters, Oregon, Liz. Hey, hey, you guys do it to me too. In fact, I walk into the TQS store and our online store, and I'm like, "You're going home with me? You're going home with me." In fact, I'll show you some of them. We are all naughty influences on each other. Oh, who cares, right? And then Ruby sent this, and she finished it, and she said that this was really quite joyous for her to make. It took her a little bit of time, but she was intimidated by the quilting, and then she just sat her rear end down and quilted it. So take a look at that. I think you did a pretty darn good job. A very darn good job. So thank you, Ruby. Okay, and then Jones, this is funny. Joan is an art quilter, and she had some problems with some of her tips, and so she called it "What's the point?" I don't know. What's the point? So then Connie, remember a while back, Quilts Alliance was trying to get memorial quilts, and Connie sent this picture of a memory quilt of her son. So, and she got it in cataloged in that whole thing. So, Connie, I'm sorry about the loss of your son, but thank you for doing that. You know, quilts, they not only keep us warm, but they fill us. They fill us on the inside. And I know that when you're making a quilt for someone who's passed or someone who's ill or whatever, something within your spirit just, it's just goodness. Been there, done that. So this, my friends, I got a letter from, God, seriously, what the heck happened there? This is out of print, okay? This is from Carol, and I think I showed you this spool block out of neutrals or quilt that Dara made. And then she found this in Quilt Maker, and it's a pattern called Spooling Around. And the difference between this pattern and this pattern is that there's strips in here. Okay, so I love it when somebody takes a pattern, a basic pattern that you might find in a Barbara Brackman book, and then you add to it. You know, just because it looks like that doesn't mean you can't add the stripes going across or something like that. So I will be talking about the quilt that's behind me when we're done here. But I am very excited to bring to you today an interview that I did with Jennifer Sampou on Ombres and how she designs and digital printing. Digital. It's new to us, and I think it's fairly important that we understand the benefits of it and some of the things we need to be cautious about. So let's take a look at my chat with Jennifer, my friend. Hey, Jennifer Sampou, how are you today?
Good. Hi, Alex. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I have to share that even though now it's been a couple weeks away, you were at Pokey's wedding with us and we just had a ball. Just a ball. Wasn't it wonderful?
I have never been to a quilt wedding. It was my first quilt wedding, right? You too?
Right, right. Everybody was so happy and Carrie did such a good job and I mean just unbelievable.
And that the whole community was hugged by quilts because
Yeah,
they were all around us, hanging
exactly.
up around the whole
Exactly.
ceremony and all the guests. It was so cool.
So we were talking there, and you were talking about what's going on in your life, and we'll go through that. But all of a sudden, it occurred to me, okay, I'm doing this whole series on fabric. I have done nothing on digital, and I've done nothing on things like your ombre. And I'm not sure. I think there are not that many ombres out there. Is that correct?
There are not. I think every company has tried ombres, but whether or not they're consistent. I mean, my sky's been in print since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I have 16 new coming in 2022, and the whole collection will be 46 when it's all said and done by 2022. Will be in through 2023 and probably beyond.
And who
So
are you
it's
with? Who are
a
you with?
basic.
Who are you with?
Robert Kaufman. Robert
Okay.
Kaufman.
Okay. Well, now your sky is digitally printed, correct?
It's digitally printed and it's not just one hue ombre'd out. Like, just to describe what an ombre is,
Well, let me go
if
to this. Let me go to this strip image.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
There we go.
Yes, so you can see that they go light to dark, but it's not always the same light to dark.
Mm-hmm.
And it can go from like a purpley blue to a cobalt blue, or like dawn, which is a purple to a yellow. So my ombres are different because
So,
they're inspired by the sky.
okay, so I know how, well, not really, but I pretend to know how to do regular fabric that has 16 screens. I pretend to know. But but this is a completely different beast. Explain it, please.
Yes. So my tagline for this collection is 1,000 colors at your fingertips. 1,000 colors at your fingertips is true. If you've got 30 ombres of sky, you have a huge palette. And there are colors in there from the digital printing that you wouldn't get in a normal 16 screen printing.
Well, you
Like when,
couldn't, right? You
no,
couldn't.
you can't get all these colors. So digital printing makes it possible. And in 30 pieces of fabric, there's 1,000 colors.
So here's my thing, and I changed my tune after talking to you this weekend. Was that I think a lot of, just because you can get all the colors in the world in a print, which you can with digital,
Yes, you can now.
doesn't mean it's necessarily a
No,
good thing.
no. No, and that's part of the problem. Like, just because you can doesn't mean you should, and it will be beautiful. It's like unicorn throw up. You do,
It's
you know,
still throw up. So how do you, well, okay, I want to look at some inspirations for sky, and then I'm going to ask you more questions about this, because truly digital to me is a whole new world. Okay,
yes,
so here is a sky.
yes. This is a piece of artwork from my dear friend Amanda Houston,
Hmm.
and you can see all the color in there.
So my question is, then do you send that to the fabric people and then they do it, or do you paint it
No,
out?
I paint it. So that's Amanda Houston's artwork.
Okay.
She's my dear friend from college.
Okay.
She trained me how to paint sky and clouds with pastels. So every piece I did is original art, my art.
Nice. Here's another.
Inspired by, yeah. So
Look at that.
inspired by a sunset or a sky.
Look at that. Just how did you come up with this concept? Or is it just one of those things where you saw it and went, wow, this is it?
Well, I've always wanted to do sky, and I'm always taking photographs ever since I was little. I just look up. I'm always looking up.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since I was little, I've spent a lot of time in nature. That's
Mm-hmm.
my favorite place to be. And Kaufman approached me and said, "We can do digital now. Are you interested?" And it's a greener way to go. It's better for the environment too.
Tell me why.
Because I think there's like a 97% reduction use of water. We don't use the water that we need that in traditional printing. You don't need all that washing and the running of water, and it's all printed with high technology machines that have these, like, it's kind of like an inkjet printer. It's kind of like when you print a photograph.
Okay. Okay.
That's the same. It's the same technology, but the inks used are for textiles, not for paper.
Does it change the hand of it at all?
No. Oh my God, the hand is so silky gorgeous,
Mm-hmm.
and they keep just getting better. Because the first digital print fabrics may have been a little bit pixelated, or they're not quite overlapping. They just keep getting better and better. And I suspect, maybe 5 years from now, maybe most things will be digitally printed.
Really? Really? Okay, so if I get your fabric, which actually I do, it's back there in my art shelf, right back there. Um, do I have to be concerned about colors running and things like that when we're digitally?
No, no, you do not have to be concerned about colors running. But what the early digital prints Um, they're getting better at the inks penetrating the fiber, penetrating the cellulose of the cotton.
Okay.
Um, and so that was a problem in the very beginning. Like the ink would lay on top of the fabric.
Hmm.
And now the ink is penetrating better through the pre-treatment of the gray goods. So
Okay.
they're accepting, they're absorbing the inkjet color better. And they're super soft. These are the softest gray goods. They're gorgeous. Like I'm making, like I have a dress on, and this dress is,
Okay.
I have an
Yeah.
ombre dress, and this was made by Hillary Goodwin.
Okay.
She always wins. And this is, I've got a linen in between, like, it's big half square triangles. And my sky is in like a geese pattern. Um, it's beautiful. What I don't tear it. Like I don't
Okay.
tear, but I don't tear quilt fabric
Oh, I've
anyway.
been known to do that. Now, I have. Yeah. So actually, our next project is going to be foundation paper piecing, and it's not on Sky, but it is with another one of your bundles. And I loved in it that you have different textures of fabrics in it, right? I mean, there's all
Oh,
different textures. Now, is that dress made 100% from your fabric, or is there some
no,
people
this
coming
is
in?
Essex linen. Can you see like
No,
close
go the
up?
other way. Go the other way.
Other
It's
way, this
opposite.
way.
There we go. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's Essex linen is the gray, which is a cotton linen that's got a nice kind of chunky hand.
Hmm.
And then we've got the ombre, which is a really beautiful lighter weight
But the
fabric.
Essex is yours too. The
No,
Essex.
the Essex is, well, the Essex is Robert Kaufman.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Shows how much I know, right? So then here is another piece of cloth that I just, or is that the sky, or is that the
That
cloth?
is the sky. That's the artwork and the fabric. So that shows you on the right hand side is one side of the selvage, on the far left is the other side of the selvage. So I'm trying to encourage people not to be afraid to cut it up, because one of the things I've had actually many teachers tell me that when they buy sky, they feel like they're cheating, or they feel like they feel like color pros. They become color pros. Um, they buy color confidence. They can't make a mistake. Like, this is not to be intimidating, it's to be liberating.
Beautiful. Now you have a quilt I want to show people, and I believe this quilt's on the cover of your book, right? I couldn't figure out how to get the whole thing in there, but basically you get the idea. How many different fabrics do you have in there, Jennifer?
There are 10 ombres and one brown, like solid cotton.
Wow.
But this is the cover quilt. It's called Dawn Star. And the beauty of this is
I mean,
these fabrics help you capture the glow, and you
yes,
don't have to work so hard.
yes, yes,
That's my whole
yes.
thing, is I want to give people glow.
So again, here's the front of the quilt, but I want to show everybody the back of the quilt, which is equally as wonderful. And I mean, look at that. That could be the front of a quilt, Jennifer.
That tells the story. Those are the ombres used in the front.
Okay. Okay.
It's telling the story of what we used.
Okay. Is there anything we should know? Okay, so I'm trying to get more digital information. Okay, so a lot of fabrics. Okay, I'm asking a dumb question and I think it's dumb and I know it's dumb, but don't say it's
No,
dumb,
it's
man.
sure it's not.
A lot of times you get fabric and on the selvage, it's got the dots and all that. Those days are over, right?
Okay, so this is funny. They are over. However, people love selvage dots. So now we do faux selvage dots.
Oh, you're
My new colors, the 16, I'm looking at them right now, but I cannot share them because they're still secret.
uh-huh.
My 16 new colors are over on my design board, and I cannot turn my computer because I'll get in big trouble.
Uh-huh.
But we do a whole row of faux selvage color dots.
Well, listen, then that was a really good question.
That was a great question.
Okay, I'm trying to find the color wheel, which I know I have, and here we go. Let's take a look at that. And I'm not sure if it's exactly the one behind you, but look at that, everybody. Wow, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's not even doing it justice because it is a photograph.
Uh-huh.
Like when you see these for real, That is 30 Sky Ombres, the original collection, cut up in 6-inch squares. And then this is an 8x8 layout that we're looking at a small photograph.
Eight
So
by eight, like eight
yes,
feet.
8 foot by 8
Oh my
foot
gosh.
image.
Was
We
that in
took
the
them overhead.
was that in the booth or something? I mean, why did
We,
you?
we did this at CNT Publishing in the photo studio. We had to get on top to get an 8 foot by 8 foot to get the feeling. But again, until you actually have a yard of this stuff, you see all those nuances when you have it in your little hands.
Right. And talk about CNT Publishing. Do you know anybody there?
I sleep with the publisher. Love saying that. I get to sleep with the
Fabulous. So now, what prompted all this, and it came together like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, was that you are teaching a retreat in Wisconsin. And I want to talk about that because you have a couple spots there.
I do. So the Madeline Island School of the Arts is this beautiful retreat location on an island in Lake Superior in Wisconsin. And like when they asked me to teach, I was like, oh, like I'm so excited because it's the perfect place. I love nature. I mean, look at the
I
how
know.
I blended the image of my quilt and the image of their art barns with the
Wait a minute.
sky
That's your,
setting.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is that your fabric up there?
Yeah, so that's my quilt above.
Okay. But,
That's the
but where it says October 4th through 8th, is that your fabric?
No, that's the actual sky,
Oh
the
my
sun
gosh.
setting behind the Madeline Art School. So
Wow.
how, what better place? We have a whole week. It's a 5-day workshop. The studio's in a big art barn. They feed you. We're going to go walk in nature. We're going to look at all the ombres in nature, and then we're going to go do the quilting. And
I
you can
love.
work from any project in my book, whether it's the Dawn Star or the Sunset Lake or, or the putting together those table runners.
Well, I will tell you this, at thequiltshow.com, we blew through your fabric, but I'll bet
Oh,
people can get it from you, right?
yes, yes.
Okay. And if they were interested in getting more information about this retreat, how would they go about getting it?
They go to, I just wrote it down, the madelineartschool.com.
Okay.
And I have links on my jennifersampou.com website under my learning. Um, because I'm teaching online, I'm teaching it. Well, this will be the first in-person retreat since COVID. So I'm doing a Q&A this Thursday, but maybe this will be too late.
It's going to be too late. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Q&A.
But where can they access the Q&A somewhere?
Yeah, so the Q&A will be on my IGTV, my
Okay.
Instagram at Jennifer Sampou.
Okay, good. So even though, yeah, because a lot of people aren't watching this stuff live anyways.
That's true.
Okay, another kind of weird thing, and then I'll let you go. But if you have an old school designer, are they, how are they feeling about this digital thing? To me, it's almost overwhelming if I were designing.
Yeah, so I'm still an old school designer,
Mm-hmm.
and my fabric, I have a lot of my fabric printed in Japan and actually all over the world, and yarn dyes will still be woven mostly in India. But I'm moving towards trying to print more on organic and the digitally printed because it's better for our environment. So maybe 5 years is not accurate. I don't really know, frankly. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good question for the fabric companies, the
Mm-hmm.
manufacturers. But old school designers, they'll still design the same way. And maybe some of them don't even know how their fabric's printed.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that really shouldn't be a worry. But eventually we'll be saying, it's a greener approach.
Sure. And okay, where is it printed? Can I ask that, or would you have to shoot me if you tell me?
No, I believe this is getting, well, so we were printing in China, but that was a problem
Yeah.
because of all the tariffs.
Yeah.
And my first line was printed in Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't always know because we are a global network.
Yeah, that's Quilter
So,
Select too. I mean, we had to move to other countries for some of the hard goods that we have because just how everything played out. So,
I mean, one cool thing is Robert Kaufman is printing the simple designs on digital here in the States. They actually have their own printer. Yeah. So, I mean, the more we can pull to US, it's better.
Great, 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 great. Well, I want to thank you so much, everybody. We did tape a show here during COVID at my house with Jennifer, and it is show number 2706. And we did a couple you gave us some really fun, quick projects, right?
Oh, I've seen the coolest stuff made with the one free pillow
Uh-huh.
project. I've seen some people make quilts from it. Yeah, so it's a great free project, and it's a way to get your feet wet with just 1 yard of ombre
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
and white.
I strongly recommend that if you have not watched this, that you watch this at home. And I'll tell you, Jennifer, we have to go out more together.
I know, we have so much fun.
So, anyways, thank you for your time. I super appreciate it, and I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Thank you for having me, Alex. And come to Mesa, anyone out there want to go on vacation and quilt.
Love Wisconsin. Can't go wrong.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks. That was interesting. Now, some of you are asking questions that I don't know the answer to, like what kind of ink and all that. I don't know. And that was a very good question. But Ben asked, is when we're talking about the faux dots on the salvage, is a salvage is a salvage. So that is when the threads are put on a loom like this, and then it's woven and it goes back and forth. The salvage is the edge of where the yarn is going, or the thread's going whoop and coming back. So yeah, you still have to treat the salvage the same, even though the dots aren't there. So, or are there? Actually, there are a lot of fabrics that don't even have dots on the salvage. But I thought this was just so interesting, and I didn't realize how green it was, and I didn't realize that. I mean, have a complete understanding of her fabric. And I know she talked more about it in her show too. So let's see. I've got to show you guys a couple more things here, if you don't mind, before John shows us, holds up the quilt. Okay, so we do have, I had to go check and see what we have in the store. We do have this pattern. It's a log cabin star quilt, and this is different. This is not the Ombres that she's doing. It's different. When the rep came in and showed us it was like a pre-bundle thing, we just lost our minds over it. And then I think this is a marginal photograph of it, and I do have the fabric here I'm going to show you. But look at this. Look at that picture. I love this picture. It's 80 by 80, and look at the sky behind it. So I was really geeking out on that this morning. So in that particular log cabin quilt, here are the fabrics, and it's a little butterfly. She did a little video on, normally she does things that are much subtler, but in this case, she wanted to usher in spring in all its glory. So we do have that kit in the store. Look at, oh yeah. And we do have some of the star kits that the pillows. So you might want to check that out. Okay, some of you, no, not some of you, Cindy, I'm going to send you a check for $20 because you asked, what about this quilt behind me? Right here. Hope John gets that. You asked about this quilt. And let me tell you, it is from my foundation paper piecing book, and that's the back. It's the second quilt I've made like this, of this exact pattern, and this is the second edition. If you have the first edition, you'll be fine, but we are going to make this sampler. And if you are afraid of foundation paper piecing, it will demystify the whole thing for you. Honestly, I had to learn to foundation paper piece to make this quilt. If you already know how to foundation paper piece, it's just a super fun quilt to make. Now, here is the issue. We have a kit that we're pulling together. I'm very, very excited about it. And ta-da, it's with more of Jennifer's fabrics, okay? So this collection, actually, this does have some of the stuff in it that the quilt has, but it's very, very subtle. I thought it would just be absolutely beautiful with this quilt. I mean, some of these pieces I like, just like, okay. And then there's like some linen-y stuff in here. But I thought, you know what? I want to kick it up just a little bit. These are fabulous fabrics that belong in your collection, period. They are I mean, I can't wait to break the bundle and integrate them. But then I thought, you know, in this quilt here, there are polka dots, okay? So I thought, well, what if in the kit we have polka dots? So I went through my caves. Fortunately, we can get these polka dots. Yay. So that'll be included in the kit. And then last but not least, I wanted a more mixed fabric in it. So we went with this. Okay. I'm so excited about this. This just pulls it all together as if it needs to be pulled together, right? And so, what you need to know is the quilt is not a large quilt. You will have a lot of fabric left over to put in your stash. Somebody asked a while back, you know, how do you start a quilt? In all honesty, I walk into our store, I see something like this, and I said, "You're coming home with mama." And when I saw this, I thought in my brain, "You're coming home with mama," and that's what we're going to do this quilt in behind us. Okay, so it's not for sale yet. It will. We're still waiting for this fabric. It was missed in the shipment, so I'm pretty sure it's coming in today. My guess is that it will be going for sale while we are taping. So make sure you look at your newsletters and all that good stuff. All right. My guess is it's going to go super uber fast. So what is a limited quantity? So John's over there getting ready to hold up the quilt for you. It's next year's BOM. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, do it. John, that's the back of the quilt.
Oh, okay.
Okay.